Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about something today that affects so many women, but honestly, it's just wrapped up in so much confusion. We're going to unpack polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS for short, and hopefully get you from that place of confusion to a place of clarity. Let's do it together. All right, let's just jump right in with a question. What do you think is one of the most common, but also most misunderstood hormonal issues that women face today? Yep, if you're thinking PCOS, you've got it. And hey, if you've heard the name thrown around, but you're still kind of fuzzy on the details, trust me, you are not alone. Okay, so first things first, let's solve this mystery. What exactly is PCOS? So, when you boil it all down, polycystic ovary syndrome is a really common hormonal disorder for women in their reproductive years. But it's not just one single thing, right? It's a condition that can affect your metabolism, your fertility, and even just how regular your periods are. So what does that actually feel like or look like in the body? Well, a big sign is having irregular or even missed periods, which can obviously make it tough to get pregnant. It all comes down to what's happening on the ovaries. See, normally a follicle releases an egg each month. That's ovulation. But with PCOS, you can get a bunch of these small follicles that just don't release an egg. And that right there, that interference with ovulation, that's really the heart of the problem. All right, which leads us to the big question. Why? Why does this happen? We're going to unpack the why behind it all. I know this science can sound kind of complicated, but don't worry, we're going to break it down into really simple, easy to understand pieces. Okay, so the main culprit here is a hormonal imbalance. Specifically, we're talking about higher than normal levels of something called androgens. Now, you might have heard these called male hormones, but honestly, that's a bit misleading. Everybody's body makes androgens. The problem with PCOS isn't that they're there, it's that the levels are too high. It's all about that balance being thrown off. And you can really see the difference here. On one side, you've got that typical hormone balance that lets ovulation happen like clockwork. But on the other side, with PCOS, those higher androgen levels just throw a wrench in the whole system. And that disruption, that's what causes so many of the symptoms we just mentioned. So that's the next logical question, right? What's causing this imbalance in the first place? Like, what's the first domino to fall? Well, for a lot of women, the answer actually comes down to a different hormone. And that hormone is insulin. Yep, a huge piece of the PCOS puzzle for so many people is something called insulin resistance. Basically, it just means your body's cells aren't listening to insulin properly, and insulin's job is to manage your blood sugar, so things get a little out of whack. This sets off a whole chain reaction. It's kind of fascinating, really. So, step one, insulin resistance starts. Your body, trying to fix this, starts pumping out more insulin to get the job done. But then, all that extra insulin in your system signals your ovaries to start making more androgens. And boom, there's your hormonal imbalance leading to PCOS symptoms. It's this tricky little feedback loop. And it's really important to say this isn't always something you can control. Genetics definitely play a part. You'll often see PCOS running in families, which is a pretty big clue that some people might just be more genetically prone to it. Okay, that was a lot of the why and the how. So now let's talk about the most important part, the path forward. This is where we shift from understanding the problem to taking control. This is all about what we can do. And I really wanted to share this quote because it's just so encouraging. It says, even a small amount of weight loss can help regulate hormones and improve menstrual cycles in some women. I mean, how hopeful is that? It's not about massive, overwhelming changes. The key takeaway here is that even small steps can make a huge difference. So one of the best ways to tackle this is through nutrition, specifically to help with that insulin sensitivity we talked about. It's really about leaning into things like whole foods, lots of fiber, lean protein, healthy fats, and maybe dialing back on the refined sugars and processed carbs. It's all about helping to keep your blood sugar stable, which in turn helps your hormones find a happier balance. And of course, you don't have to do this all on your own. In fact, these lifestyle changes are usually most powerful when you're working with your doctor. Think of it as a partnership. They can talk you through different medical options like maybe hormonal birth control to get your cycles on track, or specific medications to help with insulin resistance, or even fertility treatments if that's something you're looking into. Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. PCOS is manageable. It can feel so isolating when you're going through it, but please know, with millions and millions of women out there dealing with the same thing, you are absolutely 100% not alone. And really, that's why we're talking about this today. Just understanding the what and the why, that's the first step. It's the foundation for everything else. Because once you have that clarity, you have power. The power to make choices that are right for you, and the power to talk to your doctor and really advocate for your own health. So let's end with this. Moving from just learning about it to actually doing something. What's one small, tiny step you can take for your health today? Just one thing. Thanks so much for being here with me.